Soderbergh was shot out of a cannon in 1989. Sex, Lies, and Videotape started American independent cinema of the 90s. It was such a phenomenon. It's impossible to recapture that moment because it's a great movie.
Mhm.
But you go back and watch it, and you're not like, this was a atom bomb of a movie.
It's because the internet happened and we can't like ever go back to that
But
moment.
culturally,
right?
it was an atom bomb.
Right.
It won the Palme d'Or, making him the youngest solo director to ever win the award. He was 26. He won the Palme d'Or at 26 with Sex, Lies, and
He nailed it.
Videotape. And then the film was absolutely influential in creating the American independent cinema of the 90s, the Sundance kind of culture and all that stuff. It really, really it doesn't start with that, but it becomes legitimate.
In tons of
and
popular
real.
narratives
Yes.
about America, like it's
It
the
starts
obvious
there.
inflection point.
Yes, absolutely. But then looked at now in total, Soderbergh has maybe the most interesting career of all the sort of contemporary American auteurs. He is simultaneously so unpredictable in what he's going to do next, and yet everything he does I want to see because everything has the Soderbergh touch, and I don't know what the Soderbergh touch is. He's almost like an impossible director to tie down as to what his thing is, but he does it. I think he has sort of a like, you know, because this is the guy who did the Ocean's 11 trilogy and did not approach it as some sort of payday. He's making them like he makes every other movie. I think the Soderbergh thing is this sort of like old school rat packy Hollywood cool combined with the mind of like an experimental auteur avant-garde director. So it's these two things that don't seem like they should go together, and they come together in the Limey. This sort of love of old Hollywood cool, old Hollywood tough guys, Rat Pack, Terrence Stamp, noir,
Yeah,
Fonda,
sure,
right? He's working in a lot of those genres, but with the approach of a pretty gutsy, sort of risk pursuing director, someone who doesn't want to who wants to sort of hone a style, but without doing the same thing twice. This career, though, almost did not happen because as big as Sex, Lies, and Videotape was, he really flounders throughout most of the 90s. He followed up Sex, Lies, and Videotape with a movie I like and I have on VHS, Kafka. He did this like literally Jeremy Irons as Kafka doing like a murder mystery in Prague. It's not great. It's so much fun and it's so weird. And it was written. This is where he met Lem Dobbs, who wrote Limey, also wrote Kafka, and this is how he found out about the Limey. The Limey was a script that had been sitting around for literally 20 years that Lem Dobbs wrote, and Soderbergh was like, "Let me see what else you got," and he loved the Limey, and I'm glad that he did because we're going to talk about it's a very good movie. But Soderbergh is sort of floundering. He does Kafka. He does the one movie he did in the mid-90s that I think people like, I've never seen, is Schizopolis, which I think is one of, it's kind of like a weird experimental-ish sort of film that he did, Schizopolis, that I think he's like in as well. I've never seen Schizopolis, I'm sorry, but I know that's kind of like the one sort of highlight. And he himself said that was the one where he was like, okay, I think he tried a lot of stuff in Schizopolis as one of those movies, and then the rest of his career, according to him, sort of comes out of everything he was trying to do in Schizopolis.
Well, after it, he hits the greatest run of all time.
It's Pay Dirt. Yes, yeah.
These
maybe
5
the greatest
movies
run
in
of
a
all
row
time.
is insane.
This is listen to what I'm about to tell you. All right,
them with this.
Out of Sight in '98,
Right.
The Limey in '99, 2000, The Biggest Year Ever, where he does Aaron Brockovich and The Traffic, both of which are like nominated for all the Oscars. Right.
And Traffic and Aaron Brockovich are amazing.
Yes, and then he does Ocean's 11 in 2001.
That's 5 movies in a row that you'd be hard pressed to find it a better 5 years.
And Out of Sight is the one. Out of Sight is the one that like sort of solidifies his career. Like that's the one where Hollywood, because Hollywood was like, this is the big guy. This is the new hot guy. We're gonna give him a blank check. Okay, he did like 4 or 5 weird movies that didn't make any money. He does Out of Sight. Probably kind of for the studios to say he needed to do one to say like, guys, I can do this as a career. I can do this. Like if I have to back against the wall, I'll make you a fucking banger. And he does. Out of Sight's incredible, just top to bottom, so much fun. Great movie. Starts his collaboration with George Clooney. But to me, where he really gets his mojo back after Sex, Lies, and Videotape is with this movie, The Limey. Yeah. The Limey, to me, is where he really, really, really gets his fucking mojo back and really figures out what he's doing.